again, the Rock Doctor, coming at you live with yet another installment of Rock Guitar 101. Today, again, we're talking about expanding your fingerboard knowledge by today combining some pentatonic licks with some major/minor scale licks. So let's get to it. Let's look at the dry erase board real quick. Here we are again. Let me put the guitar down. All right, look. I use my backing track, and again, number one. I'll put the link in the description. So I've got the little 2-bar phrase here of A minor to F that repeats 3 times, and I have 1 lick for each of those. So there's 3 licks there, and I use the A natural minor scale. This guy at the 5th fret. I'll fly in an actual computer graphic scale grid of this as I described it so you can see it better, but there's that. I'll come back to it in a minute. So I did 3 licks that way. Then when the E minor to G phrase came in, which is also 2 measures, I had a pentatonic lick there, but here's the trick. What we're trying to do is incorporate some of this A minor/C major scale ideas and concepts into our playing without hurting ourselves, right? And still combining some of that with some of the blues stuff that we do. That's what I like to do in a lot of cases. Depends on the genre. But here's what I did, though. Instead of just playing some kind of mindless lick, what I did was I copied the feel, the rhythm, and the melodic suggestions of the chords. So let me fire that up again. Here's what I'm talking about. In kind of a loosey-goosey kind of way. Listen. I'm just going to kind of say what I'm hearing. So I hear lines in my head, then I find them. You know? I hear something in my head, then I try to find it on the guitar, and I practice it until it's second nature. You know, you do that for a number of years, and you really can do pretty much anything you hear. All right, but here, check it out. Right? 3 of those. And I'm hearing these licks in my head. I'm gonna put a blues lick here. Okay. I don't know if that was a good description of it or not, but that's what I did. And the other thing I did, let me grab the guitar again. I started those scalar licks on chord tones, and I made it kind of a theme out of it. I had one little idea, and it went one way, and then when I came around the second time with it, I ended it a different way. So let's see if I can remember what I just did. I'll tab it out, of course. But again, I started on a chord tone, and I ended on chord tones again. So for the A minor to F thing, I think I was the first one. I think was this. Yeah, 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. Yeah. Yeah. And then that was the first one. Then I answered it back with this. Then I did the first one again, so it's kind of like a little call and response thing, right? Then I put a blues lick in. I can't remember which one I did, but here, I'll use this one. And that guy there resolved, that happened during the E minor to G thing, so I resolved it on a chord tone in G. Yeah, so that first note I hit there was a C note. It's a chord tone of A minor, so you really kind of have to know that shit to pull this off, but it's not that difficult if you study a little bit. For crying out loud, you know? All you got to do is know your scale shapes. Hear something in your head. Well, you have to start somewhere, maybe steal some of these ideas and then try to duplicate them and invent some of your own. But yeah, you have to know what notes are in the chord. You know, so A minor has the notes A, C, and E in it. You've got to know the scale shape, and you've got to hear stuff in your head that follow the rhythm and the suggested melody of those chords to get that. So I started on A, and I ended on a chord tone too. The first time, let's see, I ended on C. And why did I end on C? Well, the chord at the end there is an F chord, so it's a chord tone. Just so learn the licks and just try it yourself. That's the best way to do it. The second scalar series of licks, when it came back around again, I decided to ascend just to be different, and I think I did this. Yeah, and it started on a chord tone of A minor again, look. And when the lick ended, I ended on a chord tone of F. And I did the C note again. The second time around, what did I do? I bent that A note up here on the B string. Yeah. Yeah. And then I did the first one again. Then I did a blues lick that's resolved to a G chord. So just follow the tab. If you think about this stuff a little bit, I think you'll be able to pull this off without me, belaboring everything with a giant explanation of every little nuance. But I was singing an idea that followed those chords, the rhythmic feel of the chords and the melodic suggestions that the chords gave me, da 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 da, right? Da 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 da. Right, I'm hearing it in my head. See, you can hear it in your head after a while. And so that's basically the gist of this. What else can I tell you? Yeah, this little thematic idea where you have this call and response is a cool little device to have in your tool belt of licks, And yeah, it's not a bad thing. So in addition to just playing through the scale, to learn it, this is a way I think to get it into your head and be more musical with it, and not bore yourself to death by just going like this, I mean, you do have to do this to get it in your head. You do. And you can turn a backing track on and play the scale and try to lock into it with eighth notes. It's a good way to start is with eighth notes. It sounds a little musical, and if you play 16th notes right off the bat, if you're not used to picking that way, you're going to screw it up. So do something in the pocket that you can pull off, and like this here. Eighth notes. And I couldn't help it. See, I'm listening to those chords, and even though I was just playing some simple moronic eighth note, ascending and descending things, I was paying attention to the chords, and I stopped what I was doing when the chords resolved there. So try it yourself. It's easier to try it and just, don't worry about falling on your face. But give it a try. Try both things. And again, I'll tab this out, have some fun with it, but it's a way to break out of just playing out of the blues box, and there's nothing wrong with that. Nope, nothing at all. But there are instances in music where we're playing something scalar, a line that's scalar in nature, is kind of cool. And you don't have to be trying to, melt the fingerboard off and melt people's faces with some shreddy licks yet. You can still do some cool stuff with easy to play stuff. You heard it. So give it a try. Yeah, that's enough. So it's me, the Rock Doctor. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, order me a pizza, find me a hot chick bass player that won't bail out on me, and I'm out of here. I love you. Bye.